Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. In the harsh, unforgiving terrain south of Death Valley, a fortune in gold lies untouched, not because it's hidden, quite the opposite. Survivors who've seen it describe mountains of black nuggets literally sticking out of the ground. 1,500 tons of it, they say, just waiting to be claimed. So why hasn't anyone hauled it away? Because everyone who tries to take it dies. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where we explore the most fascinating lost riches of the American Southwest. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of the most deadly and mysterious treasure stories ever recorded, the black gold fumes of death. The year was 1859. A prospector known only as Smith traveled through the desolate landscapes of Southern California, south of Barstow. The terrain was strange. Thousands of small, cone-shaped formations stretching for miles across the barren desert. Smith was following more than just a hunch. For years, rumors had circulated among pioneer prospectors about rich gold deposits in this God-forsaken land, and Smith's professional interest was piqued. But Smith wasn't working entirely on second-hand information. He had a guide, a Native American companion described in historical records as a man of unusual character and intelligence. This wasn't just any informant. This was someone who knew about something extraordinary: black gold. This was peculiar in itself. Traditional Native Americans typically only recognized gold in its natural bright yellow form, commonly referring to it as the pretty yellow stone. But Smith's companion spoke of unusual black gold deposits scattered among the sterile, arid cone-shaped peaks. His information was deliberately vague, shrouded in the mystery of tribal taboos and ancient traditions that strictly forbade disclosure of sacred or secret locations. Despite persistent questioning, Smith could only extract imprecise directions from his reluctant guide, enough to tantalize, but insufficient for certainty. Was the Indian protecting the treasure, or was he trying to protect Smith? Smith wasn't the type to give up easily. He quietly departed with 2 Mexican mules, deliberately avoiding announcing his destination. Following the uncertain trail based on fragmented directional clues, he embarked on a gradual journey through the barren landscape. As Smith pressed on, both he and his mules began to experience troubling symptoms. Smith found himself having increasing difficulty breathing, while his mules exhibited distress through persistent coughing and sneezing. Something wasn't right about this place, but the prospector's determination drove him forward despite these warning signs. What Smith discovered next would haunt him for the rest of his life. As dark-colored rocks became increasingly dominant throughout the surrounding terrain, he came upon a macabre scene: bleached, white human bones, conspicuous against the dark landscape. Near these skeletal remains were small, deliberately placed piles of black stones, silent testimony to both discovery and doom in a single tableau. Smith examined these strange black stones. They were unusually heavy, immediately suggesting high-grade ore despite their atypical appearance. With their coal-black coloration, they seemed out of place in the natural environment. Smith's initial hypothesis was that they were worthless stones covered with a manganese film. But something told him to test them. Using an innovative method, he struck the stones against the metal horseshoes of his mules. What happened next confirmed his wildest hopes and his deepest fears. As the outer layer wore away, A dramatic color transformation revealed increasingly bright metal beneath. This was genuine gold, despite its unconventional appearance. Smith collected what he could and retreated from the area, his breathing becoming more labored with each passing minute. When he eventually had the stones professionally milled, they yielded the substantial sum of $19,000, an absolute fortune in 1859. But the question remained: how far had the deceased prospector whose bones Smith had found traveled with his fatal treasure? Upon Smith's return, his Native American informant was visibly irritated at the unauthorized expedition, but he wasn't surprised. "I know where those black stones came from," he told Smith, "and my father knew, and my grandfather and his father before him." Despite financial incentives, the Indian absolutely refused to reveal the exact location. Instead, he gave Smith an explicit warning about death fumes and their inevitable consequences. These fumes, he explained, were fatal to both humans and animals without exception. The mule's symptoms, coughing, sneezing, deterioration of eyes and mouth, were just the beginning. According to the Indian, the area was completely devoid of life. No bird ever alights there, no lizard, no scorpion, no centipede. There was no vegetation, no grass, greasewood, or sage. Even scavengers like buzzards avoided the area, breaking natural patterns. The Indians' reluctance to elaborate further suggested either fear or profound respect for the deadly location. But Smith couldn't let it go. The idea became fixed in his mind despite the warnings. He recruited an unnamed friend to join the hazardous search and made persistent efforts spanning approximately 6 or 7 years. These unsuccessful explorations continued until Smith's death between 1865 and 1866. But the legend of the black gold outlived him. As the years passed, more details emerged about the mysterious black gold. Native Americans, described in historical documents as perverted from their tribal teachings by the white men, began sharing more detailed descriptions. The source was identified as a massive hollow hill, an extinct volcanic crater. Tragic accounts told of tribal members sent into the crater by white explorers. While they successfully reached the crater floor, they perished during their attempted return. Reports accumulated of numerous white explorers vanishing without a trace. In local spiritual interpretations, the poisonous fumes were viewed as the breath of the gods protecting their gold. The environment was described in increasingly macabre detail. The path to the crater was marked by bleached animal and human bones beside empty water containers. The location was precisely 35 miles from the nearest water source, through hostile terrain described as blackened, heat-ravished, earth-torn rock. The deadly atmospheric conditions featured heavy fumes rising continuously from the ground. Their physiological effects on living tissue were described as having a disintegrating effect upon the flesh of both man and beast. Medical comparisons were made to the then modern understanding of radium poisoning, with experts concluding it caused a form of decay for which there is no remedy but death. The survival window was deemed impossible. There simply wasn't enough time to enter, collect, and exit before fatal exposure. But not everyone who saw the black gold died immediately. There is a remarkable case of 2 survivors who approached the challenge with exceptional preparation and strategy. After extended planning, they developed survival techniques and established an elaborate water-catching system in advance, emphasizing speed of extraction once inside the deadly zone. Their first-hand description of the deposit was astonishing. They described an almost limitless quantity of black gold ore in the form of nuggets and flat chunks with manganese-like black staining. The material was sticking out of the ground, requiring minimal mining. They estimated 1,500 tons were visibly accessible. However, their extraction was limited due to survival constraints. One survivor died shortly after the expedition. The second survived long enough to recover wealth valued at $65,000 worth of ore, a substantial fortune for the era. He invested in orange grove agriculture but suffered permanent health deterioration despite his survival. Analysis of the material revealed a complex composition including gold, platinum, beryllium, and a mysterious substance called bragdouchute. As the legend of the black gold spread, modern search attempts were inevitable. A treasure hunter named Wallin, who had extensively researched the phenomenon, believed the enormous untapped value justified significant risk. He suggested an aerial approach to overcome the ground-based dangers and provided detailed geographical guidance for potential searchers. The primary route, he said, was the highway from Parker, Arizona to Barstow, California, with an alternative path from Yuma, Arizona to Indio, California. The specific focus area was the region between Barstow and Indio, with particular attention to the Amboy area, southwest toward Virginia Dale. Whalen was confident in the findability. If you're thorough, you can't miss it. In 1936, two young men from Phoenix, Arizona, specifically traveled to gather intelligence about the black gold. They had aircraft capabilities with an expert pilot and met with the ailing Whalen for first-hand information. Following Whalen's directions, they executed an aerial search, flying in a circular pattern over the specified territory at minimum safe altitude for maximum visibility. But they encountered insurmountable challenges. From the air, they found it impossible to distinguish small cones from the surrounding desert floor. No visible crater formation matched the descriptions, and landscape features blended from the aerial perspective. They returned to Phoenix without success, concluding that additional information would be necessary. Curiously, Whalen was described as greatly relieved at their failure, suggesting possible protective motivation. Shortly after this failed expedition, Whalen passed away, taking with him the most complete information about the black gold's location. The black gold fumes of death remains one of the most tantalizing and terrifying treasure tales of the American West. It represents the ultimate challenge of balancing risk against extraordinary potential reward. The question looms: will technological advances eventually enable safe extraction of this deadly wealth? If you're ever driving that desolate stretch between Barstow and Indio, look out at those strange cone formations in the distance. Somewhere among them lies a fortune in black gold. But remember, some treasures are meant to remain undiscovered. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman, Alan, for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you would like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.